Hello and welcome to the Sevens in the Sun, the official podcast from the Algarve Sevens, who is going to go from the 9th to 11th of June in a tournament that will also have the Rugby Europe Seven Championship Series and also the main stage, the Elite Tournament. So to talk about one of the teams that's going to play in the Elite Men's Tournament, I have here Ludwiche Van Deventer, the head coach from the South African All-Star Sevens. So we want to understand who they are because it's one of those debutants team that we want to understand if they can go for the gold. So before I do the big question, if one of the goals of your team is to go for the crown of champions, let me ask, who are the South African All-Star Sevens?
Good afternoon, and thank you for having me. Yeah, we definitely are not new on the block with regards to competing internationally and especially in Europe. It will be our first appearance as the SA All-Stars in Algarve. And our focus at the SA All-Star Sevens Academy is that we identify talented young Sevens players in South Africa. As you know, South Africa is a mecca of Sevens and rugby talent all over. Mm-hmm. So it is our mission that we identify talented Sevens-focused rugby players at a young age. And we bring them to our academy and they are trained full-time in Pretoria. We are a Blue Bulls Rugby Union representative as well. And we are very proud to be associated with that union. And our focus is to train these young men and take them all over the world and play Sevens rugby on the world stage as high as possible that we can.
Oh, so that's a very strong explanation. So this can be a stupid question, but in all your years with the SCA All-Stars, what type of players, or not what type, big players that pass through the team that are now playing at other not test match level, but at the bigger stages?
Well, most recently, we produced some young talented players that represented the Springbok Sevens Academy at the Dubai Sevens. Their names Junior Malelele and Jason Duplessis. Last year in the Africa invitational tournament that happened in Stellenbosch, versus the South Africans played Kenya, Uganda. To name some of the few African teams that was there, two of our players, Connor Mahoney and Pule Sabia, represented the Springboks on that level. Mm-hmm. In the past, ex-Springbok Sevens player Via Stadium came through our program. Some of the Lions, ex-Lions players, Jacques Erasmus, who also played for the Springbok Sevens, and Dean Gordon, who represented the Lions. He also comes from the SA All-Star system. So we most recently, one of our young men actually signed with the Griquas, is going to play for them now professionally. So we've had a vast amount of successes on our level. Not so much on the international stage currently with the HSBC, but we definitely do have a lot of our academy players currently playing in countries such as Poland, Germany, Dubai, and America, to name a few.
Oh, so that's very good to know. What do you expect from these young players that come into to a project or to your academy project, and what do you seek to work on them so you can bring the best to a Sevens tournament like in Algarve?
Oh, well, our motto is to become a better, faster, and stronger version of yourself. We always promise one thing and one thing alone, is that when you are done with our program, you will see and will be able to present the best version of yourself. Being such a young team everywhere we compete in the world, we always find ourselves in very deep waters competing against national teams of other countries, and the average age of my team is very, very little above the age of 21 years old. So it always depends on the availability of my players for every tournament. Do we have the strongest available side going into in big international invitational tournaments such as the Algarve? So we are really in a more fortunate situation this year than we were last year. Last year, the academy represented the Bulls at the Algarve Sevens, and the average age of that team was 20 years old. It was young students running around there with competing against the likes of Viator, who is a very senior seasoned international team, Hong Kong, to name a few, and Portugal and Georgia. And I still remember the game versus Georgia. It sounded like tanks hitting our boys. But I can say in the same breath that, and I might get a shot here in the short rib, but that a couple of months later, the two teams met in Dubai and we were on the winning side. So we remain an invitational team at the end of the day. We know that everywhere where we compete all over the world, we will find ourselves against physically more stronger and bigger players. And it will be men versus boys always on our side. But that's no excuse for the SA All Stars. We always aim to compete at the highest level possible. And we do not make use of any imports into our academy. To be very honest, the players that currently is within our program and that is currently being trained by us in our program and system, those are the players that play tournament in, tournament out, because that's the only way that they will grow and physically man up to excel to greatness at this level.
Excel to greatness. Those are two good words to explain everything you said. When you are with these young sides and you go to a tournament like you're going to be in Algarve Sevens, what's your first worry and focus that you pass on to your players?
Well, like I said, the first of the books, it's always the euro and the dollar versus the South African rand. I think that is the greatest challenge that we always get, is to get our boys across to the waters and to be able to compete in prestige tournaments like these. Nevertheless, we have managed that for the past 10 years. We've been competing internationally, so I do think that we've got a successful international footprint with regards to what we do. But our first concern and focus is always to match up physically and with pitching up, knowing that we are skilled and conditioned on a level to compete with these guys. There will always be an aspect of referees' calls. There will always be the aspect of difference in tactical and technical abilities of teams approaching each other. We do believe that our coaching is up to standard as well. We most recently appointed Paul Delport, who was a Blitzbok and the Springbok coach himself at one point, and for the past few years he coached the Springbok Sevens ladies team at the World Cup as well. So he's been working with us to make sure that our professional protocol and coaching abilities, everything is up to scratch, and our technical and tactical approaches towards tournaments are on world standards. So I've also been around the block a couple of years internationally. So we do believe that our players, when it comes to being prepared on the highest level to compete, is on scratch. the physicality part of it is, and can you maintain that level of physicality day in, day out, and week in, week out. That is very important, because Algarve will actually be our third stop on our European Series tour. So we'll start off in Spain, then off to Amsterdam, and then we'll go to Algarve. So by the time that we go to Algarve, these 20-year-olds would have been smashed and battered all over the show. So let's see what happens when we arrive there.
Okay, I hope you're not that smashed and battered, but a sevens tournament is always hard for everyone. About Algarve Sevens, did your expectations from last year excel, and what do you expect from a new edition of the tournament?
Yeah, I really don't think that we were caught by surprise anyhow. The physicality and the eliteness of every single team just showed what the tournament promised. So I was really impressed by the level of play of every single team. And for us, it remained a tremendous opportunity to take our boys to gain hardcore sevens experience. And that experience, like I said, paid off in the Dubai Sevens, where we've been competing for 10 years in a row now. Mm-hmm. So teams that sincerely surprised me out of the blocks was the defending champions now, 70s. I think they played a wonderful brand of sevens, a very exciting brand of sevens, and teams physically matching up to against teams like Portugal and Georgia really just gave our guys the edge, returning to South Africa, playing in the summer series in South Africa, and being able to knock every single tournament that we found ourselves in, to physically match up against, and once again, older, stronger, more seasoned men versus our young boys.
That's cool. And about the organization, but besides the pitch, so everything around it, did you like your experience in Vila Real Sant Antonio?
Well, like I said, I'm a seasoned traveler, working sevens around the world, and I've really been able to visit many countries and play the game of sevens with teams all over the world. And suddenly, Portugal jumped to the top of the list when it came to, coach, what is your favorite country that you've seen all over the world? And suddenly I was able to name Portugal. I really enjoyed the environment. The organization of the tournament is tremendous. Apart from the rugby, you could actually enjoy the tournament and Portugal itself, and experience the hospitality and friendliness of the Portuguese people. So it's really a great environment, a great adventure. Aside from the rugby, I really think it's a brilliant tournament that you need to experience, and that is why we decided to come back, but this time as the academy team. Because last year, as you know, it was a very young Blue Bull side, and the Blue Bulls being connected with great prestige and excellence, we wanted to be very honest in our approach to say that we'll put them in the SA All-Stars jersey, and the boys that you will see performing in the SA All-Stars jersey is in fact our very own students in the academy currently.
So about the academy, and just to finish things up, you think this type, you are a seasoned coach, you went all over the world, as you said already, but do you think this is the way that these players can connect with the world itself, and then understand how they can get not only be better athletes and players, but also citizens?
It remains our prerogative and mission to rub shoulders with coaches, and meet new people and promote our boys to different clubs and unions all over the world. So there's literally not one tournament that the SA All-Stars have not competed in, and after that tournament, our boys have been approached to visit nearby countries and unions to get involved in either coaching development programs or initiate international exchange programs. And I think what better way to pay it forward than make use of the game of sevens that we all love so much, to give these young men opportunities to play the game of rugby in any form or format in any part of the world.
That's very nice to hear. So we have already 15 minutes of our talk. Ludwiche Van Deventer, you want to just give a shout to the people at home, the big South African community that lives in Portugal and that should go to Vila Real Santo António. Do you want to share a word to them before we wrap things up?
Yes, most certainly. If you want to see an exciting brand of sevens, come support the SA All-Star Sevens Academy boys. They will bring the physicality. They will bring the flavor of South African sevens. They will not give up. En een ding kan julle baie seker wees. As ons op die veld gaan, gaan ons nie ophou nie. So come enjoy us. Support the SA All-Stars. I promise you, they will be the crowd favorites in this tournament.
Oh, that's strong, and I'm going to finish things off because this is a perfect end of interview. Thank you again. See you in Algarve between the 9th and 11th of June in Vila Real Santo António. So goodbye and see you soon.
Thank you for having us. Cheers.
Cheers.